Flash. Okay, so Flash. Okay, and I'll open up the, I think it's the last one, go to scene one. Okay, I have a different one that I'm working on here, which will be helpful. Okay, so right now, okay, you've got a scene, right? You have a new scene. So right now I'm inside of the scene intro, but I'm going to create a whole new scene for you, okay? So up the window, can you see what's occurring on my screen, or is it grayed out?
Sir?
Can you see what I'm doing on my screen?
No, sir.
Is it grayed out? Is it gray?
No.
Okay, so if I go and open up the scene palette, can you see this? Can you see what I'm doing on my screen?
No, sir. I'm not seeing
Why is that not showing up? Well, this may be a problem with just Skype doing it. No, well, share your entire screen. Okay, share my entire screen. Start. Okay. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to you got a big head there. I'm still going to make your head go away.
Yeah.
Okay, so now can you see what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a whole new scene, and I'll build it from scratch with you, okay?
Yeah.
So the first thing we do is I'm going to need to go into my Flash program and open up the scene window, the scene palette, okay? Come on, get over there. Scene. Okay? So I've got some scenes I've built already, but with you I'm going to just create a brand new one, okay? Does that make sense? So I'm going to create a brand new scene with you. I'm going to record this, and you and I will talk at the same time, and then I'll post this recording for you. Okay? Okay, so right now I'm going to create a new scene. Okay, and I think it's scene 5, and I will just call this one. What do I want to call this scene here? I'm going to call this one. No, go back to my thingy. I want to go back to the. You are life size now. I need to switch it back to the thing where I can see the rest of the world. Let me get it back here. How do I get it out of this? That makes it a little smaller. Okay, so I'm going to call this one Venkata. I think I'm spelling your name wrong, but that's as close as I'm going to get at the moment. Okay, so this is your scene. It's all about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, if you look at my timeline, can you see my timeline?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, when you have a new scene, make the timeline, the first layer, be background. And I just call it BKG. Okay, that's like shorthand for the whole word background. Instead of me typing up BHC, I'm just doing a shortcut. Okay? And that background layer, that whole job is going to be, that's the stuff that is kind of like the place I'm going to lay everything on top of. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to draw on it I need to turn the opacity up on this. Turn the opacity up. Okay. So I'm going to draw things like the base where I'm going to put my buttons. And move this over just so I have this on there. And rescale it. Okay. I'm not going for perfection, but I'm just trying to get it on here, okay? So that's that part, and I'm going to do a header at the top of the screen as well. So I'm going to double click on these, copy it, and I'm going to paste it, and I'll just move this up to the top. So right now, my background layer has got the things to make it look like a program. Okay, so it's got a place for me to put my buttons down here, and a place for me to put my header up at the top. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on here the layer associated with the button. Okay? So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it button. And remember, and so this will be the next button. Actually, I knew BTN-NEXT. Okay? So that layer, all that's going to be on that layer is the next button.
Yeah.
Okay? And if I have another button, if I have a previous button, I'm going to put in that a whole new layer of BTN previous.
Previous. Yeah.
Okay? Just so, like I said, those layers, all they're going to contain is the buttons. Okay? And then the topmost layer of that, I'm going to put a layer called actions. Okay? So I'm going to create a whole new layer. It's going to be called actions. And remember from class, I do these all capitalized. So the word actions, I make that all capitalized so that it stands out. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So now the only other thing that I need to do is I need to put something on the screen so that I know, that I've jumped to a certain part on the stage. Okay. So I'm going to take and insert. I'm going to insert keyframe here at frame 20. Okay. And I'm going to do it on the background layer. So I'm going to go to frame 20. You see it on the timeline? And I'm going to I could just right click on this and choose insert keyframe. Okay? And what that means is that it's going to carry forward. And if you notice, I can move my playhead back and forth and it looks exactly the same. Okay? So all that did was that took what was on the background layer, just kind of made it fill in all those layers up to that point. Good? Yeah, understand? Does that make sense? I see your face is doing that, doing something weird.
Yes, sir.
I see your face is making you're making a weird face. So I'm trying to figure out if you're confused or if
Yeah.
or if you had too much chili.
Yeah. I'm clear, sir.
Okay. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do on frame 20, so that I can see that I'm actually on frame 20, I'm going to go over to my little text layer, my text tool, and I'm just going to type on my screen someplace frame 20. This is literally so I know that I'm on frame 20. Okay? And I could have done this as a separate layer. It's just on my frame 20, because I made my background layer, I made that a keyframe. I'm just putting something different on there. Okay? Okay, so the next piece I need to do after I do this is I need to stop the timeline, because right now the timeline will just keep on going. Okay, so I need to go to my frame 20 on my actions layer, and I need to stop the timeline from moving. Okay, so I'm just going to do that right click and go down to actions. Okay. And up here, I've got a number of different actions for different places, but it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about those prior ones. I'm going to go over here to my little, and I got to move this out a little bit here. Okay. Oh, so I'm on frame 20. I need to add a keyframe there. Okay. Let me take a step back here because I took something out of order. Okay. So I'm on frame 20 in my actions layer, and I'm going to put in there keyframe. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you know why I did that?
Yeah. Actions.
Okay. I did that because that is a point of change. That is something like on that frame 20 on my actions layer, I need to put code right there. So I need to put in the keyframe so that I can write something on just that frame. If I put it someplace else, then it would be across all of the frames. I want to make sure that it only is impacting frame 20.
Yeah.
Okay? So now that I have that, now I can do the right click, actions. And now if you'll notice, up here in my actions, it's not grayed out. Now it's got color to it.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm going to click on my code snippets. go to my action script, timeline, and then double click on stop at this frame.
Yeah.
Okay? That added the code in there to stop at this frame. And then I can close down that whole actions palette. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And if I move my timeline back a little bit, on frame 20, you'll see that it has a little A there.
Yeah.
Does that show up on yours?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So at this point, we can stop the movie at that point, but we don't have any buttons to make it do anything else.
Just two buttons. Okay.
We're going to create two buttons. Do you remember how to create the buttons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talk me through it. So I'm going to create my next button,
Yeah.
first. What do I need to do?
Just go right click on that and get some
Shape. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the shape is. I'm just going to choose something different so it stands out, okay? And then I'm just going to draw that shape on my stage. Oop. I need to be on frame. Wait, what's locked here? I need rectangle tool. I got everything else. There is no current frame to draw anything on. Oh, well, I need to put in there a keyframe then. Okay, so on my next button, I'm going to insert just a blank keyframe. So insert timeline keyframe. Just so I have something to draw on. Okay? And then I'm going to draw a rectangle. Okay, that'll be a button. Okay, now remember, the way it is right now, I can't do anything with it because it's still a graphic.
Yeah.
What do I need to do with it so I can actually add script to this?
Script.
What do I need to do?
Script, like whatever we need, we draw in the previous, which is the next button, like previous button.
But what do I need to do? So this graphic right here, that is not a button. That's a shape.
Yeah,
I need to change it into something so it's a button.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, it's not a button, it's just a shape.
Right, but we need to convert it over to a symbol. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
Okay, so convert to symbol. Okay, and the symbol type is going to choose when we do the little drop down is button.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to call this one BTN. So we're doing the next one. So BTN NEXT. So no spaces, just run it all together.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to click on OK with it. Oh, I already have it. I have already another button called that, so I got to give it a different name. I'll call this button next. Yeah, I'll just call this one button next VENKATA. Okay, so it's just your button.
Yeah.
Okay, but it just has to have a unique name. Remember that whole thing where every name has got to be different with? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to click on OK. All right, and if I look over my library, that button is now there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if I go back over to the properties for that, okay, notice it says instance name at the top.
Yeah, button.
There's no instance name, right? So for us to use this, we need to do two things. We need to go over to frame 20, because that's, remember, the stop script is stopping on frame 20. If I don't put a keyframe there, then it's never going to get the frame 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to insert keyframe. So insert timeline. I can right click too. Keyframe, and now I've got this button that's out there on frame 20. You good with me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've clicked on that frame 20. I've got that little frame selected. Okay. And then I'm going to go up to, I'm going to click on the graphic on the screen.
Yeah.
Go up to my instance name. Remember, this is the important part. I need to put the instance name in there. So that one is going to be BTN NEXT. And then I can call it anything, but I'm just going to put in there VENKATA. Okay, but it just has got to have a unique name.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now that button has got its own, and I'm going to just hit the return key so it applies it,
Yeah.
or the enter key. Okay. So this button on the screen now is ready for me to take and put a script on it.
Script. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am on my frame 20 of the next button.
Next button.
Okay. Is that highlighted for you? Is that little orange thing or pink thing on the frame on your timeline?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to take and go over to our button and right click on the button. Whoops, actually I take that back. We got to make sure I'm going a little fast here. So click on it, make sure it's got an instance name. Okay. All right. So little slip here. Go down to the timeline. Find that frame 20 for the next button that's highlighted. Do you see that on my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now right click on that and go down to Actions. Good so far?
So
It should come up like a blank screen. There's no actions for that. Okay, good. So now we're going to go to our code snippets.
code snippets, action script.
Yep.
A timeline error.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop that this frame.
Okay, so I want to go to scene and play. The last option on that list.
Go to screen and play.
Right, because I want, when you click on this button, to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, so double click on that. It's going to fill in all the text for me.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I did it correctly, I'm going to click off of it. Look for on the first line of that, the name of your instance.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing, look down on the last line of it and see what scene it is. So right now, if we want to go to the first frame of this scene, then it would be scene your name. Okay. But let's make it so that it goes to. Do you have another scene name for you to use? Did you have another scene or not? No? Okay. We'll go to this scene. We'll just go to the frame 1 of it.
Yeah.
Okay? So what would I need to do and change this scene name to be? And I don't know. I don't remember actually. I got to go down to turn on the scene so I can find it. Okay, so did you see what I did? I opened up my scene palette so that I could see what name's there.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm going to make sure that, that went away. I'm going to have to do it again. Bring it up again. Okay, scene. Maybe I can move it over to the side so it doesn't disappear. Nope, still disappears.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got to make sure this name matches exactly what the scene name is. Okay, that means capitalized and everything. So VENKATA. And that would be whatever name you call it. So if you call this scene about, if you call this scene 5, if you call it whatever, okay, that's what you're putting into this spot. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay? And then this first one tells what frame it goes to. Right? So right now, we've got this set up so that when I click on that next button, it's going to go to it's going to kind of loop around and go to the very first frame of this scene. Okay? So let me close it down. Let me close this down. Okay, I'm going to close this down. Okay, so now let's test it. All right? So I'm going to go up to my control, test movie. Actually, I'm going to run into a couple other issues, but in browser. Actually, I need to, because I have got other scenes on my program, I've kind of got to move that one up. So I don't know if you have this, but I have like 5 or 6 scenes here. Okay? The program Flash always loads from the first scene and goes all the way down to the top. So whatever I have for my first scene is going to load that one first. If I want your scene to be first, then I need to just click on it and then drag it up so that it's now the first one on the list. Okay? So now when I test it, it'll run that first scene first. Okay, so if I go to Control, Test Movie,
That's movie.
and Browser, it comes up and stops on frame 20.
Yeah.
And if I click on my button, boop, it pops around and comes back to frame 20 again.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah. Frame 20. Like again, pizza.
Okay, so when you clicked on the test browser, did it kind of go to white screen and then, can you see what's on my screen? So when I click on that button, it kind of goes to frame 1, then kind of goes to all the frames and then comes to frame 20.
Frame 20.
Did that work for you?
Yeah.
You sure?
Come again?
Are you sure it worked for you?
Frame number 20. When you click on that, it was just clicking on.
Did it work? Or are you just saying, Professor Al, go away, I can do it myself?
No, like when you click on that, it was just blinking on the.
Okay, how about we do this one? So we did the button that says next.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you talk me through the script for the previous button? Okay, so I just walked through the steps to do the next button. How about you explain to me how to do the previous button?
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell me what to do and I'll do it on my screen. So what's the first step? So I'm on my I want to create a previous button. Okay, and I wanted to go to someplace else, but what do I need to do to create my previous button?
Previous button.
Yep, and make it fully functional. How do I make that work?
Right click on that.
Okay, so I'm on previous button layer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do I need to do next?
Just right click on that. Just for frame number 1.
Right click on which one?
Yeah. So stop in 20.
Frame 20. Okay. So frame 20's got the stop script on it.
Yeah. Stop.
I need to take and put in there a keyframe on the button previous for that. Okay, because I have one for the button next, but I need to put one on the button previous. So do you see the layer I'm on?
Yeah, like action button.
So I need to go and put in there on frame 20.
Frame 20.
Okay. On the previous layer, the button previous layer, I need to insert a keyframe.
Keyframe.
Okay? Because if not, then I have nothing to put. I can't put the graphic for the previous on it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now that I'm on frame 20, I'm on the button previous layer. I'm on the action script for that. I'm sorry. I'm on the keyframe for that.
Yeah.
Now I need to draw a shape, which is going to be that button.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to draw a circle just so I can see mine. But it could be any shape.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm going to draw a shape on there.
Yeah.
Were you able to do that?
Yeah. I'm able to do it.
Okay. All right. What's the next step that I have to do?
Moving.
What was that?
It's a just shape. It is not a button.
It's not a button yet. It's just a shape.
Yeah.
What do I need to do next to convert this shape into a button?
Button. Yeah. Control or like click on there. If you.
I got it selected.
F8. I think F8.
Okay, and then what?
Go there.
Well, I've got it. So right now, I've got the circle, the oval selected. What do I need to do next? Don't tell me F8. Tell me what to do.
Go on commands. All controls. Next.
No.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not a symbol yet, is it?
Yeah, it's not a symbol.
So what do I need to do?
We have to come up to.
Convert it to a symbol. How do I do that?
Yeah. Can you go on? I'm not getting text.
Yep. So go to modify.
Modify and shape. symbol.
Symbol. Convert to symbol. Okay, don't go down to shape. Go up to the top. It says document. Convert to
F8.
symbol.
F8. Yeah.
Okay.
Symbol.
Click on that.
Click on that and button. Button to
BTN.
BTN.
And put in the previous.
Previous. Yeah.
And then it's got to have, remember, it's got to have a unique name. So I'm going to put in there VENKATA.
Yeah.
It could be anything. You could call it India. I mean, it doesn't matter. It just has to have a unique name.
Yeah.
Okay? And we got to make sure the type is a button.
Yeah. Button.
Click on OK.
Okay.
So now in our library, if we look over in our library, we have one actually that says
Previous, yeah.
button previous, okay?
Yeah, we have.
But so we got to go back to the properties layer now. And what am I looking for in the properties layer?
No, distance name. Distance name.
And what does it say at the top? What am I looking for up there?
Sir?
So when I look in the top of my screen where it says properties,
Yeah, properties.
what do I need to change at the top where it says properties?
Instance name or
Instance name.
yeah.
Okay? Remember, it's got to be unique. So click on the instance name, BTN, and then previous, VIOUS, and then VENKATA. Okay? That's just so that it's a unique name, and I'm going to press my enter key.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, my oval is a symbol. It's all ready for me, but I don't have a script on it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do next?
See?
Okay, so I want to make sure I go down, and all of your action scripts always get added to the timeline.
Timeline. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to go down to the one that says button previous.
Previous.
Make sure that I'm on that keyframe, not on the actions keyframes. Okay, do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Button, stop.
control click on that.
Yeah.
Actions.
Actions and here the symbol. Yeah. Code scripts.
Code snippets.
Okay. Action script.
Yep.
Yeah. Timeline navigation. Stop.
Yep.
This page. Yeah. Click a go to screen play.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, I need to go to a different scene. Now, remember, my next button goes to scene. It goes to the same scene in play 1. So it's kind of a little hard for us to see it. The button will work. Just realize that you'll have to change it around a little bit. Okay? So my scene would be, now remember, with your program, you should probably you're going to have multiple scenes, right?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a scene. Okay. And I need to make sure that my scene matches the name of whatever scene I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to type that in there. VENKATA. And I've got to go into frame 1. It's going to do the same thing as the next, but if the button works, then we're good. Okay? Close your scripts down.
Scripts down and scale.
Yep. And then test it.
Debug.
Yep.
Test movie. In browser.
Test in browser.
Browser. Yeah. When you click on this,
So what happens when you click on your oval?
when it's blocked. Yeah.
Does it work?
It's just blinking like that.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's like when we click on the start, like next button, it's also same like that.
Yeah, because we go into the same, we're using same exact script on both of them.
Yeah.
When you go and build yours, you'll have it so that your previous button will go to a previous scene or to a different scene, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Do you need more help or is that good?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay? I'm going to stop that script.